The village's secret, far away from the noise of the city, hidden between dry fields and silent trees, there was a village called Norpa. During the day, it looked ordinary: mud houses, narrow paths, and quiet people. But when night fell, the village changed. Doors shut before sunset. Lamps were blown out early. And no one ever went near the old well at the edge of the village. People said the well knew names. The stranger. One evening, a young man named Hamza arrived in Norpa. He was traveling alone, searching for stories and forgotten places. When he asked for a place to stay, the villagers exchanged nervous glances. Finally, an old man pointed toward a small empty house. "You can stay there," he said softly. "But don't go out at night. And don't ask about the well." Warnings like that only made Hamza more curious. Whispers after dark that night, as the village fell silent, Hamza lay awake. The air felt heavy, as if it was pressing against his chest. Then he heard it. Splash! He sat up. Splash, splash! It was coming from far away, the direction of the well. Then a voice followed. A whisper, dry and broken. Hamza, his blood turned cold. No one in the village knew his name. The old story. The next morning, Hamza questioned an old woman sitting outside her house. Her hands trembled as she spoke. Many years ago, she said, this village faced a terrible drought. Water disappeared. Crops died. Children cried from hunger. One night, the villagers made a cruel decision. They believed the well demanded a sacrifice. Her eyes filled with fear. They threw a child into it. The well filled with water the next day. But since then, she whispered, the well has never stopped asking. The pull that night, Hamza couldn't control himself. The whispers returned, stronger, closer. Come to us. His feet moved on their own. The well stood under the moonlight, dark and endless. The air around it was freezing. He leaned forward. From deep inside, he saw hands, small, thin hands, reaching up. Faces followed. Empty eyes. Open mouths. You know our name, they said together. Now we know yours. Morning silence. At sunrise, the villagers gathered near the well. Hamza was gone. The water inside the well was higher than ever. And carved into the old stone edge was one fresh word, Hamza. The village doors closed once more. The secret remained. And the well waited for the next name. Norpa returned to its routine the very next day. The villagers did not scream. They did not cry. They did not even speak Hamza's name out loud. They simply sealed the well with a wooden cover and walked away, as if nothing had happened. But the village knew. And so did Adil. The brother Adil arrived 3 days later. Hamza was his younger brother. When Hamza stopped answering calls, Adil followed his last known location, straight to Norpa. The moment Adil entered the village, he felt it. Too quiet. Too still. When he asked about Hamza, people avoided his eyes. One woman whispered, "Leave before nightfall." That was when Adil knew. The name on the well. At sunset, Adil went to the edge of the village. The well stood there, older than memory. He pushed the wooden cover aside. On the stone rim, carved deep and fresh, was one word. Hamza. Adil's hands began to shake. Then he heard it. A familiar voice. Adil, it came from below. Truth beneath the water. The water inside the well began to move, not ripple, but breathe. Faces slowly appeared on the surface. Children. Women. Men. All pale. All waiting. A small boy stepped forward, standing on the water as if it were solid ground. The village survives because of us, the child said calmly. We are the price. Adil backed away. You killed my brother. The child tilted his head. No. The village did. The final choice. The air turned cold. The well spoke again, deeper now, louder. One must stay. One may leave. The faces looked at Adil with hollow eyes. If you leave, the child said, the well will dry. The village will starve. If you stay, the village lives. Adil thought of Hamza, of the name carved in stone, of the silence of Norpa. Slowly, he stepped closer to the well. Dawn at sunrise, the villagers returned. The well was full, overflowing. The wooden cover was back in place. On the stone rim, beneath Hamza's name, was a new one. Adil, the old man who had warned Hamza, closed his eyes. The debt is paid, he whispered. But deep inside the well, two voices now called together. And the village's secret grew heavier. Because the well was never satisfied. For the first time in decades, Norpa slept peacefully. Crops grew faster. Water never ran out. No child cried from hunger. The villagers said nothing, but they all knew why. Two names fed the well now. The cracks begin on the seventh night after Adil disappeared. The ground near the well cracked. Not loudly. Not violently. It sounded like a slow breath escaping dry earth. Dogs in the village began howling at the same hour every night. Birds refused to land near Norpa. Even the wind avoided the place. And then the dreams began. Every villager dreamed the same dream. They stood at the edge of the well, looking down, hearing voices whisper, "We are more now, and we are still hungry." The child who saw too much. There was a boy in the village named Yusuf. Unlike the others, Yusuf did not look away from the well. One night, he followed the whispers. He lifted the wooden cover. The well was no longer deep. It was wide. Inside, the water was gone. Instead, there was a staircase, spiraling downward, made of stone, bones, and names carved into the walls. Names. Hundreds of them. At the bottom, two figures stood waiting. Hamza. Adil. Their eyes were open, but empty. "You shouldn't be here," Hamza said gently. Adil smiled. "The village is growing." The truth revealed. Yusuf ran. The next morning, he told the elders everything. For the first time, the old man spoke the full truth. "The well was never meant to save us," he said. "It was meant to contain something. Long ago, something ancient lived beneath the land, something that fed on guilt. Sacrifices kept it asleep. But now, it has tasted choice," the old man whispered. "And choice makes it stronger." The first step outside that night, the well overflowed. Not with water. With shadows. They slid across the fields. Touched the trees. Moved toward the road leading out of Norpa. For the first time, the curse did not stay inside the village. Miles away, a traveler woke up suddenly. He heard his name being whispered from the ground beneath him. The same way Hamza once did. The last line back in Norpa. Yusuf stood at his door, shaking. The whisper reached him too. Soft. Patient. "You know our secret now." The well had never protected the village. The village had protected the world. And now the seal was broken. The road leading out of Norpa had always been empty. Now it was not. The first outside death 30 miles away, in a small roadside town, a man named Salman woke up screaming. He swore he heard his name coming from under his bed. When his family checked, there was nothing there, only damp soil on the floor, as if the earth itself had been breathing. By morning, Salman was gone. No signs of struggle. No footprints. Only his name scratched into the concrete outside his house. The patterned disappearances followed. Not random. Always people who knew a secret, felt guilt they never spoke, or had made a choice that cost someone else their life. The whispers were no longer tied to a place. They were tied to people. Yusuf's burden back in Norpa. Yusuf grew weaker every day. He could hear the voices even while awake. Not calling him. Teaching him. We were buried, not destroyed. We grow when we are remembered. We move when names are spoken. Yusuf realized the truth too late. The well was only the mouth. The curse lived in memory. The elders' last mistake terrified, the elders decided to burn the well. They poured oil. They lit the fire. The ground screamed. That night, the sky over Norpa turned dark red. Every name carved into the well vanished. Across the country, thousands of people sat upright in bed at the same moment. Because now the names had nowhere to stay. The choice returns. The old man collapsed, crying. We were guardians, he said. Not survivors. The voices returned, louder than ever. One must remember. One must carry us. Yusuf understood. If no one held the secret, it would spread forever. The keeper at dawn, Yusuf walked into the ruins of the well. The ground closed behind him. The whispers stopped. For now. Norpa slowly faded, houses abandoned, paths erased by dust. Maps stopped showing its name. People forgot the village ever existed. All except one thing. Sometimes, late at night, when the world is quiet, people feel a heaviness in the ground beneath their feet. Not a voice. Not a name. Just the feeling that something is being held down. By someone who chose to stay. Time passed. Norpa disappeared completely, no ruins, no roads, no memories strong enough to explain why that land was avoided. People only said the soil there felt heavy, like it was tired. Children refused to play on it. Animals would not cross it. And deep beneath the ground, Yusuf listened. He did not age. He did not sleep. He remembered. The weakening years later, the world grew louder. People spoke secrets freely. Guilt became lighter. Truth lost its weight. And with that, the pressure beneath the earth began to ease. Cracks appeared again. Not in one place, but everywhere. The new whispers this time, the voices did not call names. They asked questions. Do you remember what you buried? Do you know what your comfort cost? Will you look away again? People across the world began to feel it, that quiet unease when standing still. That sense of being watched by the ground itself. But most ignored it. Just like before. Yusuf's final act. Yusuf understood. The curse did not need fear anymore. It needed forgetting. So he did the only thing left. He let go. Not of the seal, but of himself. He allowed his memory to scatter into the land. Into dust. Into stone. Into silence. The curse did not escape. It dissolved. What remains now? There is no village. No well. No voices. But sometimes, when people make a cruel choice and try to bury it, the ground feels heavy. Not angry. Not hungry. Just watching. A reminder that some secrets were never meant to be hidden. And some prices, once paid, must never be forgotten.